Hello ladies and gents, this new video brought to you by Ants Hood. And today's video is my 2000 plus Messa barbarus colony and they need more space. Now believe it or not, it's been about 4 months give or take since I moved them into the Antboyuk UK Smart Nest. Now if you haven't seen my review on that one, because I did an honest review and obviously collected it all up, check out the link in the top right corner now and check that out so you can get a good honest review of the nest. Now after I connected it all up, they looked about like this in the nest. You know, if you check out the nest there, you'll see they're probably occupying about, I don't know, a quarter of the nest. And that was 4 months ago. Check out how they're looking now. As you can see, the Outworld's absolutely packed because I moved them again and it disturbs them. They run around like blue-ass flies. But as you can look at the nest there, it's about half full. Now, once all those workers move into that nest, it is a full nest. And there isn't a lot of room for them to use their seed storage. So currently, they're storing the seeds in the Outworld, which really isn't ideal for Messors because they like to take the seeds back to the nest. So I knew I needed to get a new nest. Now, like I said, it's been 4 months and these guys have gone from occupying a quarter of that nest to filling it up. So, do you know what? I actually wanted to get another Antboy Smart Nest for them because actually I really like it. It's done my Messors really, really well. Now, I do need to say a big thank you for Antboyuk UK because I did say to him that I was willing to pay for this, but I had to wait to the end of the month, I think, for payday. But he sent it anyway, and then when I tried to send him money, he said, don't worry about it. So a big thank you to Antboyuk UK for this. Thank you. If you checked out that link that I sent at the start of this video, if not, I'll do a bit of a recap, if you watched it a while ago, that is. He sent this with a white cover and a red cover. And now I did do some photos inside it to tell you, how well the red was pretty good. The white was like really light inside the nest, so it wasn't good. So hopefully he sent it with a black one. As you can see here, he clearly is. Now, if we look at this picture here, you'll see inside it, and you can see it's pretty black. Now, if you want to keep your ants nice and happy, I would definitely recommend the red or the black filter for this because clearly they both work. Red makes it really red inside and black makes it really black inside. Imagine that. And this is a really pants picture. When I took it, I thought it was better than this, but you can't see the hole in the nest, so I do apologise for that. But it is the exact same design that I got previously on it. Now, this was custom to me, but Antboyuk UK has told me that he will be releasing this on his website as well. It currently isn't for sale because he's just restocking as we speak, but it will be, and it'll be retailing for some amount which I don't have off the top of my head. But after a slight pause and I checked my phone to see what Antboy said, this will be retailing for £54.99 with a black and a red cover, which is really good. Now what Antboy UK has done is the hole where you poke out the sensor, he's now put a plug in there, which is a really good idea. So now I definitely know 100% that all the atmosphere it's reading is from inside the nest itself. Now, from my observations of actually keeping this nest now, I also would like him to do a little bit of other changes as well. Now this is obviously the new nest. If you look into it, you can see the tubing is quite flush with the connector and you can actually push the tubing in. Now that wouldn't normally be an issue. But what I've noticed, if you look at this picture here, is it's not very clear, but I can tell you what's happening. They're actually chewing onto the tubing now, and they're chewing it away. They've chewed about 1 centimetre away of it already, so that's something I really need to keep an eye on. But one way that you could potentially stop it is if I go back to that other picture here, you'll see that this ring here, if we just 3D prints it so it forms a little lip, and then you can push that neat flush against the little lip you've formed, and it will stop them being able to chew, well, reduce the risk anyway, of being able to chew at the tubing. So just from my observations, it's not a end of the world thing, but it's just something I think would be a good addition to this nest. But let's take a look to see how they're getting on now. Now, if we look at this video, this is them. I've just put some fresh water in because it's the first time I've had to do maintenance on them since being back from being away. And if you look at the Outworld, it's fairly busy, but there's no seed stored in there, like I said before. And if we jump on the macro lens just to have a quick look inside, yeah, there's plenty of space in there currently, and that's just because there's so many in the Outworld. Now, normally they're very full in here because obviously that's where they chill out in the nest. There is some seeds in here, but there isn't a great deal. Now, like I said before, Messors love to have the seeds stored in the nest. And look how rammed it is. That's how it is normally. They've just emptied out a lot because I've disturbed them, because I've moved them onto my table to film them, and because there's food in the Outworld for them to be busy with. There's just not a lot of seeds in here. Now, obviously, I need to get a new nest, and I knew that I need to. I'm probably guessing these are around 2,000 plus at the moment. Considering that they only filled a quarter of the nest and have now filled it to about to pretty much capacity, they have done really well in this nest, and this is why I've got another one, because they've done absolutely gleaming. Now, and originally did say that the hydration area, which was sponges, I wasn't overly cool with. Now, believe it or not, I'm not actually bothering to hydrate these because the sensor can read inside the nest. I know the hydration is higher than they normally like, which is around 70% I think it is. But they've done this by themselves. They're hydrating themselves. It's their own humidity. So you could argue maybe there's not enough ventilation in the nest, possibly, or it may be they're just cleaning the brood and hydrating it themselves. But let's look at connected together. Now, what you've seen I've done here on the right is I have got already the tubing kind of made up how I want it. Now, I do adjust this like in the video. It is filmed, but I'm just going to edit it a bit so you don't have to sit there and watch me cut it up and stuff like that. But what I'm doing, which I will strongly recommend you guys will do if you're adding stuff like this, is that you make sure you measure it all up properly so it fits nicely when you come to put it together. This way you avoid a lot of escapees. Now, previously I've just gone for it hell on leather and I've had ants going everywhere, as you guys know from my video. But just from when it's connecting, I think I lose about 1 or 2 ants by the looks of it. No, 1 ant running around. So it's definitely the preferred method of doing it. And not only that though, because they're occupied in the Outworld, there isn't loads of them coming in and out of the tubing. I've kind of messed up a little bit with this setup because I haven't done what I normally do, which is give myself extra expanding space like I did here, because if you notice that there was a T-junction, I had a stopper in there so I could connect this all up. Now I'm actually connecting the other nest to the far right of this, and I'm going to connect the new Outworld, which we'll go into in a second, just in the front of it to the lower part of this. So I've now stumped myself so I can't expand it any further, but I'll have to deal with that at the time. I'm going to be connecting this Outworld because you can tell from the video previously the other Outworld's too small for them now. Now this is a bit bigger. I am keeping the old Outworld attached to it still, but I will be disconnecting that at some point in the future. Now you guys know full well from this one, it was originally connected to my Solenopsis point and Solenopsis colony, and this is where they got out, where they decimated 3 of my colonies, completely killing them. And yeah. Now, to point of fact, I'm actually keeping that all connected up apart from this Outworld because I'm going to keep that set up where they can roam around the room for my Carabera Diversa. But I've got a new Outworld and a new nest arriving, but that would hopefully be here some point this week, so I can do that video for next weekend. But anyway, I'm digressing, talking about my Diversa. Now anyway, so I've now ready to connect this new nest up. Now I've edited a bit of it out. And all it is a simple disconnect and push it in, because I've already done most of the prep work. I've cut all the tubings to size, and preparation's key when you're doing stuff like this to minimise the amount of ants, is the word I was looking for, that get out. Now I think you can see it from this video, pretty much as soon as I connect it, they move straight into it, or they start exploring it because it's a new Outworld for them. And what I've also done is because of an original nest, I've got the red acrylic on it. I'm going to put the black acrylic on this one to see if they prefer it being red or black, and hopefully put to bed this myth Messors can see the red, because if they can see through the red, then the black one's going to be ideal for them, and they're going to want to move everything into there because it will be more suited for them. But we'll have to wait and see. Now this bit I had a bit of a faff with, to be fair, because it didn't matter how much I cut that tubing to size, I couldn't quite get it right how I wanted it. But anyway, that doesn't really overly matter. Now, as you can see, I've already applied a barrier to this Outworld to make sure they can't get out. And let's not have another episode of Solenopsis getting everywhere. But these are a lot bigger. Even their smaller ants, I don't think we'll be able to get through the gap in the mesh cap that's on there currently. Fingers crossed. But yeah, standard, I just put this together and I shove it back in, and I do get some ants going everywhere. It's not a major drama at all. But I think later on as well, just because there's nothing in this Outworld at the moment, I move their water test tube out and into there. And the reason for that is because it's a lot easier to get access with this Outworld, the new one, compared to the Wakooshi. I think this is an S3 Outworld, to be fair, the one that's currently attached. Can't remember, I'll have to check my other video. But anyway, and my fat hands can't get in and get the test tube out easily, so this should be a lot easier to get stuff in and out. Now, like I said, the S4 that I've currently, Gen 3 S3 this is. I've got the old Gen 2, which is slightly longer, elongated, should I say. But anyway, it needs cleaning because it's very, very dirty. If I remember, I'll put a video I want to talk over. It's disgustingly dirty. Not only that though, because Messors being Messors, they've obviously got the seeds, husks that they don't use, and they put that in a get my words out, a trash pile, but then they put excrement all over it, which then welds it to like a bit of a cement kind of thing, is the best way to describe it. It's very hard, almost kind of like a rocky texture to it when you're scraping it off. Now what they've done is they've gone all the way to the top, so the side barrier is no longer relevant because you use that as a way to get up and out. In fact, I'll put the video here so you know what I'm talking about. So as you can see, this is what I'm talking about. It's like a cement mixture. It's really weird. I've already scraped it off previously before going away, but they've kind of built it back up again. Now I've hoovered out all the excess husks down at the bottom of the nest, but this can't be hoovered out because it's been cemented with feces. And those little streaky lines is the feces itself, and it just forms a massive cement, and they've used that as an ladder to try and get out, which they did while I was away. Now here's a bit of a time lapse so you can watch while I'm talking rubbish again. Now, like I said before, they've kind of hydrated themselves in the other nest, but just because it's a fresh new nest, I've decided to hydrate just one compartment of this as well, just to see if they move all the brood to that area or not. I'm not going to overly hydrate it because, like I said, I don't massively need to, because like I said, they hydrate themselves, as it were. Well, they seem to regulate the temperature and the hydration in the nest anyway. As you can see, these are about 26 degrees or so anyway, just because it's the temperature that my room is for my leaf cutters. Now, unfortunately, the reader's going to be upside down to how I want to read it, but that's just the way it's orientated. Now, I'm not sure, because I've not took this one apart, if there's hydration tubes all around, holes all around it, so they can get the readings inside the nest or not. But it's not something I'm overly concerned about, because I have hooked this up to my phone, so if I really want to find out the temperature, I can just look on the phone and see the temperature and humidity of both nests. But as you can see here, they're getting around and they're moving around into it nicely. But like I said, it's been about an hour or so since I connected them up and I've started editing this video. So I am going to have a quick look. I don't know why I'm showing you my desk. Hey, nice desk. Have a quick look at my hand and see how they're getting on. So this is the setup complete now with the 2 nests and 2 outworlds. Like I said, there's nowhere to expand it at the moment, but hey ho. But let's take a look to see if they do prefer the black or the red, and just see how they're getting on now they've had some time to settle into this new setup. As you can see, they are in the new Outworld, but the barrier's been useless. They've already got to the top of the barrier, so I need to keep an eye on that. And they're not too busy in there, but look here, that nest is significantly emptied out. So let's take a look in this with the black cover off and see how they're getting on. As you can see, this is what I'm talking about. They like to keep the seeds in the nest, and you can clearly see they've got plenty of seeds there, and they much seem to prefer the blacked out area than they do from the red area, which kind of lends to the point of actually maybe they can see red filter and it's not just a crazy myth, because yes, they're quite happy to get on there, but I also know people have been keeping these in the Saturn nest, should I say, from Wakooshi, which don't have any filters at all, so they are quite happy in the light, it appears, but they much prefer the dark. Looking at this, there is still a significant part of brood in there, but if you look through here as we pan round, there is brood just there right in front of the middle of the camera now, so they've already started moving brood in as well. Now, I couldn't see the queen in either of the nests. I did see her earlier today, so I do know she's alive, so that's not a concern. But as you can see, there's definitely brood there. Oh, there's the queen there. There's definitely brood in there, and they definitely prefer the black. The only issue that I've got with the setup currently now is I need 2 people to move it to do some filming, which is a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. Now, I'm really pleased with the Antboy nest. Like I said, a big thank you to Antboyuk UK, because he gave me this nest even though I was willing to pay for it, so happy days on that one. So a big thank you to Antboyuk UK. And like I said, this will be in stock soon, so if you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description below so you can check his website out and keep an eye on when it's available. But clearly, as you can see from these photos of my Messors, they have done incredibly well. They have practically tripled their size in the 4 months since being moved into this nest, and now that I've got a new one connected, they've got plenty of space to expand in, so fingers crossed I won't need to worry about these guys going forward. Now, as always, I need to say a big thank you for you guys for watching this video, and I do hope you enjoyed it. The next video will likely, depending if I get the stuff from Wakooshi, be about my Carabera diverser. Now, I have got some sad news about my leaf cutters, but I'll talk a bit more about that going forward as well. But anyway, please join me and say a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without their help, my channel won't be what it is today. That's Adam W, Antantics, Anty Matters, David D, Jason W, Paul A, Pjants, PJGrant, and the 530 Ski. If you want to become a Patreon, check out the link below. But it's not just Patreon I've also got YouTube membership. So please join me in saying a big thank you to Anty Matters, Lee, PJGrant and Wakooshi, who support me via YouTube membership. Now, you just need to click the tab in the below this video, I believe it is. If not, I'll put it in the description so you can become a member if you choose to. It's also worth giving a shout out to PJGrant, because he's now started his own Ant YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. But anyway, that's it for today then, guys. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye-bye for now.